Lots of travel gear looks cool on paper, but sucks in reality. And after almost 9 years of nonstop travel, I'm pretty picky about what I pack. Today I want to show you what I actually travel with for trips that can last from weeks to years. The stuff that's actually worth your precious luggage real estate. This isn't just gonna be a random list of deals on Amazon or whatever. I want to show you the stuff that I actually use every day while traveling, including my faves that I could never travel without, as well as some unfiltered opinions on things that I think are definitely not worth buying. I'll leave the links to any discounts I find below in the description. The first is something that every traveler needs in their backpacks, and that is a universal adapter that has plenty of USB-A and USB-C plugs. Not all of these are created equal, and in my opinion, some of them are pretty overrated. The Epica adapter is one that's been treating me well for years, and it's one I really recommend. I have their basic level charger as well as this fast charger, which cost a little bit more. Honestly, I think the basic charger is more than enough though, and to me, fast charging is a little bit overrated. I can count on one hand the number of times where it would have actually helped me to be able to charge things faster than normal. This might be different for you if you're some sort of psycho like my wife who likes to live life in a constant state of 2% battery. In that case, being able to charge super quick right before you go out exploring might actually come in handy. But if you do a pretty good job at keeping your things charged, then I would just say save your money and go with the basic adapter. While we're on the topic of charging stuff, I think that there's one specific type of power bank that blows all other types of power banks out of the water when it comes to travelers. And that is one that has a built-in plug that plugs directly into the wall. The reason these are so handy is because you never have to remember to charge them. You just plug it directly into the wall in your accommodation and use it instead of those little power charging brick thingies. And after it charges your devices, then it charges itself, so you never have to actually remember to specifically charge it. And you can also pair this with one of those 3-in-1 charging cables so you can cut down the number of cords that you have to travel with. By the way, this video isn't sponsored by any of these companies, but if you'd like to support the channel, you can use my referral links and discount codes in the description. Next up are the non-stink merino wool travel clothes that tend to get a lot of hype. In my opinion, there are certain clothes that are worth it to have in merino wool, but some definitely aren't. For example, I really like these merino wool pants that Unbound Merino sent me to test out, but they're also an example of something that I probably wouldn't buy with my own money. That's because the whole point of traveling with merino wool clothes is that it's practically impossible to get them to smell bad. That means you can just keep using them over and over, which means you can pack lighter and you practically never have to do laundry. Merino wools can be pricey though, so you're basically paying a premium for this benefit. I don't know about you, but even my normal non-merino pants normally never really smell bad, so it doesn't really make sense to pay more money for anti-odor material on a type of clothes that doesn't smell bad to begin with. That said, boxers, socks, and shirts are another story. These things do tend to smell bad quickly, which is why I think it's totally worth it to spend extra for the material, especially if it's on sale. It might sound gross, but I can go weeks with just a few items of clothes because they just never feel dirty. And I can't imagine having to go back to normal clothes and having to wash them every 1 or 2 uses. All right, so I told you what pants I think aren't worth it, but what about ones that I think are? Well, these ones were also sent to me to test, and these are ones I can honestly say that I would buy again. And I probably will in another country the next time I go back to the US. If you want to travel super light and save money on luggage fees, these pair of pants could function as the only pair that you need to pack. They're super stretchy and comfy and good for physical activities, but still look casual enough if you need to dress up for something. They also dry fast, don't really wrinkle, and you can roll them up way smaller than normal pants. Best of all, they cost about half as much as the merino wool pants that I was wearing earlier. I still wouldn't consider them cheap though, so if you can, I'd look for a sale. That said, if you're like me and you're using these as one of your only pairs of pants, then it makes sense to get ones that you love. I'd much rather have one pair of really awesome pants than a closet full of pants that are just kind of meh, but that's just me. Before we get into some smaller travel gadgets, I just want to finish off with another clothes recommendation that I've been kind of obsessed with. These clothes have tons of secret pockets built into them, so not only does it make it easier to stay organized while you're traveling, and you can even cram them full to save money on luggage fees, but they're also impossible to pickpocket. In other videos, I've shown this fleece hoodie in my travel vest that they sent me, which both have over 20 pockets, but they also have other clever clothes like this hat with secret pockets where you could stash some emergency cash, or this t-shirt with 2 low-key zipper pockets, or even these undies with a pocket that fits my phone perfectly. Basically, if you or anyone you know loves pockets, then these guys make some pretty cool stuff, a lot of which is on sale right now. By the way, if you're interested in the full list of things that I pack when I travel carry-on only for months on end, I made a handy cheat sheet that you can grab in the description. Also, as you've probably noticed, this video focuses more on medium to higher priced items, like high quality items, because that's where you're gonna save the most money when they're on sale, like a lot of them are right now. That said, there's also tons of really cheap travel essentials that I also never travel without. These don't really make sense to mention in this video because most cost under $10 anyway, but I'm making another video showing all of these small little essentials, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to get notified for that one. Next is a tiny little item that isn't strictly for travel, but it's something that I've been finding super useful to help me sleep better on the road. If you're a health nut, you've probably already heard of the Oura Ring that tracks your sleep and other health metrics. The problem with this ring is, first, that they charge an ongoing subscription, and so you're constantly paying to use your data, and second, it doesn't work in a lot of countries, so it's not really travel friendly. Lucky for me, one of their top competitors sent me this ultra-human smart ring to test out, and it's been doing an awesome job using my personal health data to give me personalized recommendations to help me sleep better. And when I sleep better, I have a lot more energy and travel just feels more fun. It also looks like they're adding a jet lag feature in the future, which I'm really excited to test out because jet lag sucks. The next thing I always travel with is some sort of action camera, but these aren't all created equal. I've traveled with GoPros, Insta360s, drones, DJI cameras, and just my cell phone by itself, and I've discovered that each of these is best suited for a certain type of traveler. Insta360 is an awesome camera because you never really have to worry about pointing your camera in the right direction because it's recording in all different directions. This allows you to do some really cool stuff and even make it look like you have a drone even though you don't, but there is one big downside which makes it not the best option for a lot of people. And that is that after you record, then you have to sit down and edit, and you have an infinite amount of different angles to choose from, so it just takes forever to get the shot that you want. So if you have time to do that, it's cool, but if you don't have time to do that, then probably not for you. GoPros, on the other hand, are just overall quality action cameras that I personally like to use whenever I'm doing stuff underwater or rough activities where I'd be scared that a different camera would break. But if you're not doing any of those things, then there is a cheaper and more convenient option. I also recently bought the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which I'm using to record this video. This isn't an action camera, so you have to be extra careful with it, but it has a bunch of cool features like a built-in gimbal and automatic face tracking, so you can move around and it tracks wherever you go. This comes in extra handy when you're traveling alone by yourself and you want to get cool shots of yourself doing stuff. But if you don't want to spend hours editing, and you don't do any action or underwater activities, and you don't care about recording yourself doing stuff while you're traveling alone, then maybe just using a good quality phone camera is the best option for you, and you can save your money and spend it on something else like an epic backpack that I'm about to show you. We've literally used our iPhone to record 90% of our YouTube videos, so you really don't need to spend extra money on an extra camera if you don't want. Speaking of iPhones and Apple, recently my wife and I took a trip to Cancun for our baby moon, and we wanted to do a photo shoot on the beach. I didn't feel like paying a photographer, so I just set up my phone on the beach with a little tripod and then connected it to my watch so I could frame myself to make sure we looked good, and then all I had to do was just tap 2 fingers to take the pictures, and it just made the whole thing really easy, and we got some awesome shots. This is way easier than putting your camera on a timer and then trying to sprint really fast into your picture while the clock is ticking down. Just a little tip to tuck away in case you ever want to take nice pictures of yourself. If you found this video useful so far, please give it a thumbs up. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, backpacks. I want to start by saying that I 100% do not think it's necessary to get a fancy, expensive backpack if you're on a tight budget. You can travel just fine without one, and my wife has used this super cheap backpack from Amazon for years just fine. But I do 100% think that having a really nice backpack instantly elevates the experience. Not all expensive backpacks are worth it in my opinion, and I'll give you an example in a second. But for some, you can literally feel the quality the second that you touch it. And this might sound dumb, but you actually feel excited every time you get the opportunity to use it and pick it up. For me, the best personal size item bag that I have ever tried is this Tom bin bag. It screams quality, and I just like how you can open it up completely like this, all the way open, and have all this space to pack. As you can see, it fits a ton, and so you might be able to even save money on a carry-on and just pack this as your personal item instead. After using it a bunch of times, it fits under the plane seats for the most part, but if you jam pack it completely full, you might want to keep things low-key as you're walking through the airport and kind of hide it a little bit so you don't have to put it in the sizer. Anyway, this bag is worth splurging on, especially if it's on sale. And a bag that I don't think is worth splurging on is the carry-on that I am currently using that Tortuga sent me. Even though they sent it to me for free, I still want to keep it real with you guys and give you my honest thoughts. This is the Tortuga Travel Backpack Pro, which is honestly a really high rated backpack. I do think it looks nice, and it's probably the most comfortable carry-on to actually carry. So if that's your priority, then maybe it is a good option. But I'm just not a big fan of the structure and the organization of this bag, which to me is the most important part. I just feel like I can't fit nearly as much stuff inside as I can with other comparably sized bags. It just feels like the space fills up super quick. Anyway, everyone's needs are different when it comes to backpacks, and so if you prioritize cushy straps for carrying and cool looks and you don't really plan on stuffing it 100% full, then it might be for you, but it's not for me. That said, Tortuga does offer my favorite set of packing cubes, and I've tested a lot. If you can find them on sale and you just like things that feel nice in your hands, then I check these out. That said, any packing cube is better than no packing cube, and you can save some money by just getting cheaper sets that I'll link to on Amazon. The material and the zipper might not feel quite as nice, but they still get the job done. Also, if you really want to cram in more stuff to your bags, you can also try out compression cubes, but I personally just prefer using normal packing cubes and just getting a smaller size and then cramming them full. I like the idea of compression cubes, but in reality, I'm usually just too lazy to take the time to zip up the compression zip. As far as packing personal hygiene items goes, I've tested a bunch of different bathroom bags, and I finally landed on this sea to stomach bag as my favorite one. For me, it's just the perfect size. It's big enough to fit everything I need, but also minimalist enough to not take up very much space in my luggage. This little hanger comes in handy, and it fits a surprising amount for how small it is, but for ladies, for example, that have tons of different creams and shampoos and makeups and whatever, it's probably too small. A lot of these travel items are awesome once you get to your destination, but there's also some super important small travel essentials that you need when you're actually on the plane. I share them all in this video, and I highly recommend watching it next if you want the secret to max comfort on your next flight. Like, subscribe, do the things. Love you. Bye-bye.